What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joseph, and in today's video I'll be going over the top 5 stocks you should be buying for the month of September. Now, all of the trade setups that I show you in today's video are very easy to understand. I'll show you exactly why you should be buying the stock. I'll also go over my price target and my stop losses as well. If you're going to enjoy this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot and it only takes 2 seconds to do. Also, if you want to be a part of a free Discord community where you can hop into some of my plays or even ask me questions about anything, make sure to check out the Discord channel in the description down below. Alrighty guys, now that we have the chart pulled up on my screen, I'm going to go over the top 5 stocks you should be buying. But the first thing I want to take a look at is SPY, which tracks the overall market. And as we can see, overall SPY has been on a nice uptrend this year. But the reason why I'm pulling this up before going over the 5 stocks is because, as we can see, SPY hasn't had a pullback back to this 100 SMA in a long time. And as we know, last September, that's when we pulled back pretty heavy, falling from 358 all the way down to about 319. So just to give you guys a heads up, SPY does look kind of overextended. So make sure you're going into all of these plays with a stop loss in mind. Don't go into heavy, and make sure that you are keeping your risk to reward ratios pretty good. So that's what I wanted to focus on just to start out. As you can see, SPY is well above those moving averages, and they typically have a pullback to any of these moving averages. So getting into the first stock, we have Twitter, which is TWTR. And the reason why I love Twitter and this setup is because, as you can see, long term, Twitter has been in a very nice uptrend. As you can see, forming higher highs and higher lows, constantly going upwards. And they recently had that nice big pullback back in May, and they recovered pretty well. But if I go ahead and draw this trend line out for you guys, right there, we can see that that's Twitter's trend line. As I said before, they kind of fell under it previously and then quickly reversed back above it. But the reason why I like Twitter, as I said before, nice uptrending stock. But as we can see, they started to bounce off of this trend line pretty nicely. And if we zoom in a little bit further, we'll see that they got that nice move to the upside, had a retest, bounced clearly right off of that trend line again, and now having a move higher. So keep an eye on Twitter. I definitely see them going up throughout the rest of this month if the market supports it. And we can see that they're clearly holding this 20 SMA. And then we also have that trend line under it acting as support. So if we look at the previous times it fell to that trend line, we had nice clean bounces from it, obviously starting back here in March, and then having consistent bounces around that trend line as well. So that's why I really like Twitter. For my price target, I do see this thing going back up to around $70 and some change. That's where they have clear resistance at. So keep an eye on that level. We can see Twitter retest this and get rejected, so you want to log profits towards that area. And then if we get a nice break above that, then we should see Twitter go right back up to around $74 and then around their all-time high, which is around 78. So I do like this Twitter setup. Also, one more thing I wanted to mention is that, as we can see, the MACD finally crossed towards the upside. So that signifies a momentum change within the market, switching from sellers to buyers. So I do like that on the MACD. Momentum is kind of low. Twitter doesn't move that much, but I would buy some far out call options on Twitter if you like this setup that I showed you right here. And the next stock that I'll be getting into is SBUX, which is ticker symbol SBUX. And SBUX, similar to Twitter, nice uptrending stock. I love trading stocks within an uptrend, pretty easy to trade. And as we can see on SBUX, they've consistently had bounces around the 100 SMA. Now, the 100 SMA is one moving average that I love to use. Stocks like to use this as support. And as we can see multiple times in the past, Twitter loves bouncing off of this moving average. And recently over here, pulled back and started consolidating around this moving average. And we did see a nice green candlestick at the end of August, pushing right above those other moving averages on my chart. So I do love SBUX. I actually alerted this one to my group already. I was calling it right around this moving average. And if I go over to my group, in the profits chat, we'll also see that I did lock my last contract for around 60% on SBUX. and that was on that day we had that nice green candle. So definitely keep in mind with Starbucks, I do see it pulling back a little bit further right around this moving average, and that's where I'll look to hop in again into some call options to play the upside. Now, also similar to Twitter, we did get that nice cross on the MACD, signifying that momentum change. Very nice to see on the stock. So we should see that continuation back up towards around all-time highs. Now, keep in mind, the last time they bounced from their moving average was around June 17, and before they started to fall, it was around the end of July. So it took them about a month and a half to reach back towards this high area. So give this play some time, let it play out, let it go all the way back up to around its resistance areas, and you can keep a trailing stop loss, which would be underneath that the 100 SMA. So I do love this chart right here. I always play Starbucks when it pulls back to that moving average, and this is a nice easy setup. Now, the next stock I'll be going into is Boeing, which is ticker symbol BA. And as you see the trend with all of these stocks that I'm picking, they're all in a nice uptrend. And this trend line on BA has been holding up pretty nicely. And if I zoom in a little bit further, we'll see that BA has been consolidating right around that area, not really going anywhere, trading sideways. So definitely keep an eye on BA. It's been sleeping for a while, but I do see a nice big move coming soon. And we'll also see that the momentum has been dying down. It had a lot of selling pressure. It got rejected around that 100 SMA, but now that it regressed back to that trend line, we should see a move higher. The safe entry for this play is once it closes above the 20 SMA. As we can see, it's still acting as resistance. So keep an eye on BA, nice uptrending stock. And when it comes to my price target, I do see BA going right back up to around $240. And then from there, right back up to around 260. So those are my two price targets for BA. You could buy some leap options for this stock. As we can see, it's been gradually in a uptrend, or you could even swing it for a few weeks. So that is the play with BA. Let me know what you guys think of this one in the comment section down below. And as I said before, it is a slow mover, so give it some time to play out. And then for my fourth stock on this list, we do have FICO, which is ticker symbol FICO. And this one isn't a similar setup to the other three. As we can see, FICO had a really big pullback from $553 all the way to a low of $440, so falling over $100. As we all know, you want to be buying the stocks on pullbacks and not when it's around all-time highs. And if I zoom out on the chart, we'll see that it fell to a nice area, previously acting as resistance, but now if I map this out, we'll notice that it's acting as support. So right there on FICO, let me zoom in a little bit. Right here, this was a key rejection area for the stock, and once it broke above, it kind of fell to this area and quickly reversed above and fell to this area again, where we start to see some buyers buying up the stock. Now, not only did the RSI become oversold and we got a nice bounce, the MACD did fully cross above, which is nice to see, and we got that break above the 20 SMA. So this is a really nice setup on FICO. The price is kind of steep, but this is a really nice setup. And if it goes as planned, we should see FICO go right back up to around its resistance areas, right around $530 at first. And then as we all know, their all-time high is around $550. So that is the setup with FICO. Nice clean setup, fell to a nice support area, broke above resistance, and we should start to see a continuation. Now, don't be surprised if it retests the 20 SMA before finally reaching back towards the upside. And also don't be afraid to lock profits as it's going up towards around that 530 area. And then last but not least on the list, I have Zoom, which is ticker symbol ZM. And oh my goodness, Zoom for earnings fell a very large amount. As we can see, on the day of earnings, it had a nice green candle, pushed up to around $348. And then in after hours, it fell to a low of $289. So pretty big fall for Zoom. And they created that huge gap on the daily time frame. So I love playing these plays. If I zoom out a little bit further, it also fell to a very key area. So if I map out this area for you guys, we'll see that this was previously resistance, now acting as support on the stock. And previously it retested this 275 to 288 range. And as you can see with earnings, fell right to that support and started to bounce. We see that oversold on the RSI as well, and the MACD starting to cool off from the seller. So this is definitely a nice, easy play on the Zoom. Huge gap to fill. Typically stocks like to fill their gap, so we should see this thing go back to around right here where their gap started, which is 331 at bare minimum. So this is a very nice play, $30 move to the upside. I would keep my stop loss right underneath the support area, and this is a great risk to reward play. Now I'll also show you guys a similar play to this that I was looking at on Fiverr. Fiverr, similar to Zoom, gap down because of earnings, and they fell back down to this key area on the chart, this 158 level, which was actually their previous resistance. So it kind of formed that double bottom on the chart right there. And now, as we can see, Fiverr is pushing back towards the upside. So that's the same thing I see happening with Zoom. As I said before, falling to that key area, and we do see buyers already stepping in and driving the price higher. So let me know if you're going to play Zoom in the comment section down below. I would buy a month out call option for this one, or you could even buy a leap, because I do see Zoom as being undervalued right at this price. As we can see, their all-time high was around $588, so they're down pretty bad from where they were previously trading at, and I do see Zoom making a move higher throughout this month. So those are the 5 stocks for the month of September. Let me know what you guys think about all of the setups in the comment section down below, and which ones you'll be hopping into yourself. If you learned anything from this video, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I upload. See you in the next one.